Hello, guys, and welcome back to the All New Nerds, another podcast, another day. And today we have a very special, interesting pod for you. It is, unfortunately, just me, Dylan, and Johnny and Ben. Unavailable. Johnny's birthday today. You know how it goes. Some things pop up, as they do. But, as you may tell, we don't have the All New Nerds logo in the corner, but we have the Ladylorians logo. So, joining me today, we have Ruthie, we have Dodge, and we have Kath from the Ladylorians, and we are going to get all the details about that. And I don't know, have a good time, talk about it, and make the best of what has been a wild podcast thus far.
Heck yeah!
Hello.
How you doing?
How are you guys doing?
Great. Pretty good. Yeah.
Great, right? Yeah.
I think Dodge and I have determined that the Star Wars celebration high has
finally
officially died down.
Yeah.
And now it's like post-con depression era.
No,
not really. We're great. We're doing well. How are you?
I'm thriving. We haven't had a guest in a while. Our last guest was actually the head moderator of Wikipedia. So
wow,
you're gonna have to follow that.
The big dog.
They're very generous with their time, and I'm sure they go on a lot of podcasts. It's not something special about us.
We've got big shoes to fill, apparently.
But yeah,
we gotta straighten our posture.
The man who helped me write all of my high school essays.
Wikipedia.
Oh, they said Wikipedia.
No,
Wookie.
Dude, we got
that makes way more sense, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a Star Wars podcast.
Wow.
It's vaguely Star Wars.
It's vaguely only wrote my essays on
vaguely Star Wars. We can talk about other things.
I
was gonna say, I was like, man, did you go to some sort of like one of those like fake Victorious high school? You know, like that kind of vibe. Big Victorious people. Any Victorious fans out there?
Victorious?
No?
I think we can all say we're Victorious fans.
Yeah.
It sounds like just you and I.
If you know, you know. I don't.
The girls that get it.
It sounds like Ruthie's given a no Victorious.
I was a Disney gal.
iCarly was better.
Yeah, iCarly was better. I was a big Drake and Josh fan.
Drake and Josh.
100%.
Josh supremacy.
100%. One time, Drake Bell performed at my school. Just
wow.
Shut up.
Reason.
Well, here's one for you. My second grade teacher was Ariana Grande's cousin, and I met Ariana Grande when she was like 13, when I was like 8 or whatever.
You should have secured the bag.
Stephanie Grande at the time. And she was like, oh yeah, my cousin's going to be in this Nickelodeon show. And we watched the first episode of Victorious in second grade when it came out. And I was hooked from there. So
whoa,
that's my,
that's crazy.
Well, like, no, she was like,
whatever.
14. I was exaggerating, but I was young and she was also young is my point.
Wow. Wait, Levi, I have a question for you.
Yes, of course.
So the other guys aren't here. And
No.
You said it's Johnny's birthday.
It is.
Are you sure he's not having a party and your invite got lost in the mail?
So that's the thing. They are on a different coast than me. That is the.
Oh.
I would have to fly there. I do fly out there sometimes. But,
okay.
You know, there is that sort of like couple thousand miles.
There's a barrier.
A little bit of a barrier in our relationship. I know it's tough.
I guess.
Long distance is hard.
Well, it is, and I'm there in spirit. But yeah. So
exactly.
everyone go home.
But
and watch
they're not here.
No.
Yes.
Well, they're not here. It's true.
Everyone's there in spirit, but no one's here in spirit.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, their spirits are elsewhere.
We've got each other, and we're gonna put on a great show.
A great show,
everyone.
a wonderful show, a wonderful show. So, I figured I'd ask some introductory questions to introduce you to the audience. And yeah, our audience is, as you said, it is primarily Star Wars, although we're not exclusively Star Wars. You know, I got my lovely Tron Legacy poster here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm always willing to plug.
Very nice.
Thank you. But I think, yeah, for the audience, what do you think your earliest memory is of Star Wars? We'll just go around. So we'll start with Ruthie.
Okay, so I actually got into Star Wars pretty late in the game. So I mean, my earliest memories of Star Wars were my brother, when he was young, wanted to watch all the movies, and I remember kind of watching them like over his shoulder, kind of with my dad, and seeing the cantina scenes and stuff, and thinking, man, these monsters are ugly. Like these monsters, these dudes
Right.
are gross. I don't want anything to do with this weird shit. But yeah, and then like also I grew up in the era when Clone Wars was, airing on Cartoon Network. So like I remember, watching some Clone Wars here and there, but most of it going over my head and stuff like that. So I did not like grow up with like Star Wars at the center of my life or anything. It always kind of was a franchise that intimidated me because of the amount of content and the amount of lore and how much there is to know. I was just like, there's no way I can delve into this and feel confident, in that kind of fandom. But full disclosure, and I don't even know if I've even said this on the Ladylorians.
An exclusive. This is a scoop.
Exclusive. Ooh. Oh, in 2019, when The Mandalorian came out. This is so like cringe in retrospect, like in hindsight, but put yourself in 2019, okay? Simpler times. I was obsessed with the Baby Yoda memes, okay? I love that little green bean. I love that man. And I was like, look, I know nothing about Star Wars, but he's so cute. And I decided to start watching The Mandalorian exclusively because I was obsessed with Grogu.
I didn't know that.
This is the origin story.
I was sending Baby Yoda memes and like gifts and everything to everybody, and I thought it was the cutest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Okay, and and I'm a Hello Kitty fan, so like, and so the reason I started watching The Mandalorian is because I heard it was detached from the Skywalker saga movies, and that it's a good entry point for fans, and that I could watch it and enjoy the show that was separate from the existing franchise. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a good way to dip my toes in, this world. But mainly I was attracted to The Mandalorian in 2019 because I was obsessed with Baby Yoda. And then I was like, wait, Baby Yoda's dead, kind of fine. And then,
The arc we all go through.
Star Wars was my quarantine project. Star Wars was my quarantine obsession. So like all of 2020, like I started a Twitter and met the Ladylorians and started our group chat, and we started calling each other, and like it snowballed into something much bigger, and it now consumes my life. But
yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
I only became
president
like
of your club,
of the USC Star Wars Club.
Yeah, that's quite the journey.
Oh yes, right on.
That's what George Lucas went there, so
Yeah, it's cool, but yeah, space movies are my life now, and that's kind of my legacy. But yeah, I'm not embarrassed. Wow. I'm not embarrassed to say that I only became a fan in 2019. So
definitely don't be embarrassed. I think that's that's a bad way to be. We're definitely
yeah. Everybody's welcome here. But yeah, everyone else's stories are probably more interesting than mine, but that's mine.
So thank you. Thank you, Ruthie. Yes, to the
Thank you, Ruthie. Thank you for being honest with us.
You're welcome.
I think this
really opened up right there.
I know. We learned some new things.
Putting it all out on the table.
This is the first time we've had on the show, I think, everyone of like around the same age. So this might get
exciting.
This is chaotic a little bit. Like the fucking no one like above the age of 30 is like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Like no way.
I'm glad though, because I feel like our humor will be the same.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we will match each other.
That's how we clap in my work's team meetings today.
That's good.
Oh yes,
Like,
snaps.
Okay, well, Dodge. Same question to you. Earliest memories. Let's hear them.
So I grew up in a Star Wars family. My mom, sorry, but listen, I wasn't a big Star Wars fan. My mom and my brother were like all about Star Wars. They used to build like all the Legos. Still to this day, my brother's 24, and in his childhood room, he still has all of his Legos flying from the ceiling. But I remember like my earliest childhood memory is my dad used to have a projector for his work, and he would take it home and he would take all the paintings off of our wall, and me and my brother would sit like upside down on our couch and watch Star Wars on it, and my family used to binge watch like the trilogies like every couple of weekends. So I just like, that's my earliest memory, but I never really fell in love with Star Wars. I knew everything about it like through the movies wise, but I wasn't really interested in it. And then The Mandalorian came out, and I remember when Disney Plus first came out, there was like nothing on it. Like there was very much basic level stuff, and so I was like binging like Kim Possible and stuff. And then I saw The Mandalorian, and I was like, I don't really like Boba Fett, but I'm gonna watch it, right? Because I was like, oh, it has to be related to Boba Fett. I'm watching it, and I was like, this is okay, this is okay. And then at the final, like, 2 seconds where we see that it's Grogu, like a baby Yoda, I like instantly was like, I need to know everything about Star Wars, because why is Yoda like that, but he's not that age? So it made me like become obsessed with Star Wars, just because I needed to figure out like what I missed. And little did I know that I didn't miss anything related to that. But yeah, and then I, obviously loved The Mandalorian, created a Twitter account, and became like obsessed with, seeing other people make memes about Star Wars and all this stuff. And so that's kind of how I got onto social media wise for Star Wars. And then, yeah, so basically I didn't become like a true fan until 2019 when The Mandalorian came out. So,
imagine that.
I mean, I know, right?
Yeah, Kath.
I'm kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Like, I'm right between you guys. So my family's not a huge Star Wars family, but I have 3 older brothers, and they were always watching Star Wars. They had like lightsabers. I don't know. They had like toys, everything like that. And so I knew what it was my whole life. Like, I've always known what Star Wars was. And I think my earliest memory or experience with the Star Wars movie is I remember getting into an argument with my mom because I didn't understand why we had to watch 4, 5, and 6 before 1, 2, and 3. But she was so adamant about that. And I was like, that's not in order. And she's like, that's the point. And I'm like, this makes no sense. And it was a whole thing. And so then similarly, I didn't really get into Star Wars, like into Star Wars, like make my Twitter account, like anything like that in 2019. And it was because I bought a book. I bought Bloodline about Leia and all that stuff. And because I read the synopsis and I was like, well, it sounds sick. I've already seen all the movies, whatever. So like I know the context, but then I watched Mandalorian, and then I binge watched the Clone Wars, all of it in like really fast. And I just became obsessed. And then I kept buying Star Wars stuff, and here we are.
You big Ransom Casterfo stan?
Can you say that one more time?
he's one of the main. Never mind. He's one of the Ransom Casterfo. It's the senator, the other senator in Bloodline. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I only read like a third of the book.
Got it. All right. No, that's good. I took a shot.
Another book.
I took a shot in the dark. I thought maybe I was like maybe we'll get it. Well, it's okay. It's all right.
Is he a glup shitto?
I think technically, yeah. I mean not technically. He's got to be. I mean, if he's in only a couple novels, then it's definitely a glup shitto, right? What's the glup shitto line?
Yeah,
I mean, even if you're a main character in a novel, are you still a glup shitto?
The glup shitto
because
meter.
not that many people read the novels, maybe.
Yeah.
Less than watch the movies, that's for sure.
Yes.
I can tell you that.
Like if he showed up in a movie in the background, like only like diehard fans would know who he was.
Only the real fans.
Only the real fans would understand. So for that reason, I would think he is.
Okay. Well, interesting, because one of our favorite things on our Discord server is that same question and listening to people's stories, and the people who have come into it more recently, who have just binged through like all of Star Wars. Like we have someone who's actively going through Rebels right now, and from getting into Mandalorian, and they just finished it. And what was that like? Of there is all this content before, like seeing it all, because unlike your mom, I am a big proponent of watching Phantom Menace first. I'm like, no, I'm a big chronological order guy. I think I think Phantom Menace is a better entry point than New Hope, but that's just me.
I mean, I definitely prefer that too.
Yeah, it's like if Phantom Menace captures your heart, then you're into Star Wars. Like if you can get into that, then you're fine, right? Like
that's true.
Yeah,
there was nothing wrong with Phantom Menace except
I love
I
Phantom
love Phantom Menace.
You know what really helped my relationship with the Phantom Menace? And this might offend the male in the chat. I started thinking of it and approaching it like a Barbie movie.
a Barbie movie.
And when I
Like
thought
coming
of
of
the
age?
Phantom Menace like a Barbie movie, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, okay. I think Jar Jar Binks, I love Jar Jar Binks. I am a Jar Jar Binks apologist. I will defend him until I die. But he's like the goofy sidekick talking animal in a Barbie movie. I think that Uda Gunga, the Gungan city, really reminds me of Mermaidia.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
remember the
that
mermaid
does.
one? Oh, the mermaid Barbie movie kind of
literally,
slaps.
it looks
Yeah.
like a mermaid kingdom. I don't know, the whole
I
like
remember
plot
that
of
drop
it
in
and the
Scripps.
journey and all the royalty stuff and the handmaidens. I'm like, this is so Barbie. Like this is the Barbie cinematic universe, and it's why it's one of my
It
favorite
fits.
Star Wars movies.
It's the BCU. Yeah, I think George.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
I think George Lucas started Barbie, right?
I don't know. It just
I
like
think
gives
so.
me okay. Well, also no. Here's the real reason. Like the majority of like the Barbie movies that are nostalgic for like girls like our age came out in the 90s and early 2000s.
I know.
So like computer animation was also like at the same like
Oh god,
stage that
it's
it
3D.
was
Ugh,
when
so
the
bad.
Phantom
Yeah.
Menace came out. So like in so many ways, like the Barbie movies, like they had really good stories at their core that kind of suffered because of the animation or silly sidekicks or things like that that made them more accessible to children. I don't know. I just feel like the era that they came out and there's like so many like parallels and
Can
things. I'm
you-
like, this is like a Barbie movie.
We should do a podcast episode on that.
Can you remind me who the villain is of the mermaid Barbie movie? Because I remember very like
Oh,
it's a
isn't it
vision
like-
in my mind. She's like wears black, and there's a scene of her like standing on this bridge with Barbie, and like
yeah.
Ken is like swimming under the bridge, or like a male Barbie, I don't know, male mermaid.
Yeah.
And this scene is
Yeah.
like burned into my mind because I have seen this film,
I
this
don't
work of art.
remember her name, but I remember her little henchman, and I remember there's this one scene where they're like navigating through this like kelp forest, and he goes left the room.
It's true. I know what she's talking about. She's not wrong.
Right? Insert the clip. Roll the clip.
I don't know if we have the power. Dylan, roll the clip. Or don't. I don't know how.
No, copyright gods
Yeah,
are
that's
gonna
the-
get us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Just
I
put
mean,
like your own audio over it, and
Be
no,
like-
it's the point. The point is the audio.
Bro,
kinda
you
like-
bring the girls with the pink logo on the Star Wars
I'm so
podcast.
sorry.
It's 10 minutes in, and they start talking about a Barbie movie.
that
God.
mermaid
Lost half your
Barbie
audience.
movie.
But
I'm
that's
sorry.
who we are,
I'm
right?
sorry.
And the
That's our
podcast is
brand.
about the Ladylorians,
Yeah, literally. So
and we are
definitely
chaotic.
more of a Scooby Doo stan myself. But that's
Understand.
the Scooby Doo
That's
cinematic
understandable.
universe.
oh yeah, dude, I'll watch Scooby Doo and Curse of Zombie Island any day of the week. Oh man.
So live action Scooby Doo cinematic universe.
Well, that one. I mean, those are also. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But-
Fast is
I-
a chip on the left, on the
I
side.
unfortunately was an Adult Swim kid
Mm,
Oh
mm.
because
god.
I was unsupervised on the
gosh.
television. Big
I
Family
was
Guy fan.
SpongeBob.
I was huge on South Park Comedy Central. It was my
Bruh,
like gold mine for
to
me.
this day, I do not watch
MTV
that stuff.
Cribs.
I feel like
I
I'm
was, like, 8 years
watching
old.
bad stuff. Really? I
Yeah.
felt so scared to listen when I was on Cartoon Network. I was like, ooh.
I
was-
was getting babysat by this girl, and we went over, and Wizards of Waverly Place
This is the
was on, and I
content.
wanted
This
to
is
put
good
it on,
content.
and they were like, "No, we can't watch that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Because my mom says it's witchcraft." And I was like, "What is wrong with you guys?"
It's witchcraft. Yo, Selena's
Like,
casting
that's the
spells.
point.
Yikes.
They were very
Dude, imagine if they saw Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They'd explode. That was it.
I know, that's what I was just gonna say. Levi, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I guess I can't watch Sabrina either.
Sabrina, man. Yeah, that's the.
what is it,
With the
a
talking cat?
necromancer?
Oh my god,
Ooh,
it's too much.
Scandy.
Y'all see the
Well-
new Riverdale season? Oh my god,
Bro,
I don't want to talk.
Riverdale has entered the multiverse.
I think
It's just funny
think,
at this point.
I think we might
Can
have
we get
to
a Riverdale Star Wars crossover?
roll it back. I don't know what would that look like. Oh God.
Sorry,
I don't know,
sorry.
but I know that
Who would,
they
who
like
would
bring
cross,
a bunch
who
of
would
different
cross
shows.
over? Like, who is the
All of
number
them.
one character who would cross
No,
over? in
just
Riverdale?
C-3PO and
Anakin.
R2-D2. Just them.
What?
Just the
Because they're in
droids.
everything.
Anthony Daniels
That's
would do
fair.
it. He'd do it too. He's like
Bro.
that man. That man is a
Is
content
C-3PO.
whore.
I think
Yeah.
Poe Dameron
loved
would
it.
be
Oh
good.
my god.
No, he loves it. He loves it. He's like,
Oscar,
oh
like
man,
Pulsa.
no, I love him.
Poe Dameron would see an airplane and freak out.
If Star Wars like goes into this multiverse territory, I'm gonna have to dip out of this fandom.
No, we're
like
not
It's
doing that.
hot. Oh my gosh.
I
anyways.
can't
I can't do the
it.
Marvel stuff anymore. I used to be a
Same.
diehard fan. Too confused at this point.
I,
roll
to
back.
be completely
Sorry,
honest,
we gotta roll it. We gotta roll it.
Gotta reel it in.
This
Roll
is our
it.
minds. I'm so sorry.
Reel it
You
in.
can cut all that out.
So I actually do. I do quite like. Cut back in. I do quite like that comparison of the Barbie to the Phantom Menace in terms of like the era and the way that like if you can get past certain things about it and attach to the story, then there's a lot there. And like
Yes.
I think what we were saying is like Phantom Menace is just for me. It's like as a movie, it is weird because there is like no main character, very bizarre. But like it just feels like a slice of life of this universe, and if you're able to get into that, then I think you're able to like Star Wars. So I'm definitely a
Very
strong
true.
proponent of watching that one first. I think the question I asked was about what was it like to catch up on all the content. I don't know if that got an answer. I don't know if that got answered, but like
probably not.
No, I don't think so. Because Kathy, you briefly mentioned going like binging Clone Wars and stuff, but because I remember watching Clone Wars like week to week. Well, here, how about we reel it back even further than that? What was the first Star Wars movie you guys saw in a theater?
Rise of Skywalker.
Force Awakens.
Rise of Skywalker. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You never saw Force Awakens or?
No, because I didn't know anything. I thought everything would go over my head because I didn't know anything previously.
So to
And
this
I
day,
didn't-
Rise of
What?
Skywalker is also the only Star Wars movie you've seen in a theater.
Well, no, because USC Star Wars Club has screened all of the prequels and all of the originals, and also Rogue One.
But
like
did
on
you
a-
not see Rogue One or Solo in theaters?
No,
I didn't.
I didn't
either.
understand anything about the universe. I didn't understand it.
No, I
Like,
saw
it's
Rogue
a
One.
spinoff. And even that they are spinoffs, like the fact that I knew nothing or would know nothing going in.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't have appreciated it. I don't know.
yeah.
I wouldn't have
You're right.
understood the importance of what they were doing, or in Rogue One, and would have felt very little connection to Han and Solo, and been like, yeah, like. So
A dude.
Rise of Skywalker was in theaters December 2019. So
Tis-
I
Tis
started
was.
watching.
Yeah.
I started watching The Mandalorian also in December 2019. So I finished that in 2 days. I finished Mando, like all of it, all 8 episodes in 2 days. And I started on Christmas Eve and finished it on Boxing Day. And then I told my dad, I was like, Dad, there's a Star Wars movie in the theater right now. It's my last chance to see a Star Wars movie in the theater because this is like the last one, right? So, or of the Skywalker saga. But that's where my comprehension was at that point. And so I sat down with my dad, and over Christmas break, we went through all the OGs and the prequels and the first 2 sequels so that I could go to the theater and see Rise of Skywalker before it went out of theaters. So that was my experience.
Okay.
Nice.
What was that like? I mean, like in terms of getting through that content.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to think if I formed attachments to characters like very quickly as I was watching stuff, or if that happened later. I feel like there's so much content and there's so much loaded in dialogue that on your first watch through, I feel like there's a lot that gets lost on you, or goes over your head. And I mean, even now as a fan, like, and I've gone back and watched all the movies so many times now. Like, I'm noticing new things every single time I watch them. Like, I pick up on a new piece of dialogue and make a new connection in something every time. And I feel like that's a very, like, common experience between Star Wars fans that I've talked to. So, I mean, it's a lot to have thrown at you, you know, when you try to watch everything as quickly as possible and squeeze everything into a binge watch, you know. Does anybody else feel that? I don't know. Anybody who binge watched everything?
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. Like I rewatch, like Solo is one of those movies that I've watched countless times, and every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't remember they said that, or I don't remember like this scene happening like right after this scene, or like whatever. It's very like it's kind of nice. I always binge Star Wars like every couple of years just because I forget a lot, and whenever I binge it, I'm like, oh, so that's why that happened in that or whatever. It's like I'll never fully be able, especially in Clone Wars, like I will never be able to connect the dots until someone's like puts the dots in my face and they're like, remember when this happens? And then I'll be like, oh, that's what happened. So like I always have to re-binge things or have someone explain things to me because I will not be able to connect them myself.
Okay. I mean, Kathy, you mentioned binging Clone Wars. Do you have a different experience there with connecting to the characters before going back into? No?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. Building off of what they were saying.
I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I'm just trying to get at like the experience of, because I just try to understand, like, because yeah, it seems it's true. Like Grogu blew up the world, and it sounds like Luffy and Dodge, like that was like the catalyst to be like, hey, this Star Wars thing's pretty cool.
And then going back, avid anti-Grogu person. Okay.
A hot take.
I think it's cool. I think it's cute. I think it's fun. I don't think it should. I think there were other things that deserved a lot of attention in the show that weren't, because they wanted more screen time for the baby, and I was like mad about it. But that's just my own petty like selfishness. If you like, power to you if you enjoy Grogu and stuff. I mean, he's cute. I'm just not I'm not like a diehard. So so for me, like, what?
I was just gonna say, I remember, like, I vividly remember you and Izzy watching the last season of Clone Wars together whenever it came out, and I remember you guys like freaking out about it, and the rest of us were like, I didn't binge it right away. I wasn't really into
we weren't there yet,
and so they were freaking out about it, and we were like, yeah, and so I think it was just fun watching Kath and Izzy talk about like, oh my gosh, and this happened, and then Ahsoka showed up, and then like this, and we were all like, yeah, that's crazy, that's so cool. Wow. Yeah.
I don't know. I binge watched all of the Clone Wars before season 7 came out because I wanted to like know what was going on and didn't want to like get spoils when season 7 came out. And so I honestly like, it took me a really long time in the show to see it not as a separate thing, but as an extension of Attack of the Clones. And so it took me a while to get into it because I was just like, oh wow, it's just a show about them going on adventures.
First 2
but then you get like later in the show, and then things start connecting and arcs come together, and then I'm like, whoa, so this takes place immediately after Attack of the Clones. And I thought that was so cool. And I love when shows like fill in that space
gaps
and just like, and then when it feeds into the Sith and like what we didn't see, you know, before the intro of Revenge of the Sith, and that part of it was the coolest thing to me, because, you know, it made Anakin, for one, way more human than we got to see in the prequels. And It's my favorite. The Clone Wars is probably my favorite part of Star Wars, 100%.
Definitely a respectable take. I'm not going to take that early season slander though. I will hold by that season 2 is the best Clone Wars season. That's it's a hot take. I know. But season 2, name me a bad episode in season 2. I'll wait. You start with Cad Bane.
The animation was a little harsh in the beginning.
A little harsh, especially season 1. You know,
a lot of pointy edges.
Rex was looking a little rough.
Yeah. Little angular.
Wait, what was that meme that came out from? So it was the episode where Captain Rex was at like that farm and he was getting healed.
Ah, yes, the plane
by the other clone. Yeah,
season 2 is what I'm talking about. That's season 2.
And
good season.
But he was shirtless and he had nipples, and everyone. No, actually, I think it was the fact that he had a lack of nipples. It was something like that, and people on Twitter were
obsessed.
It just
with
became
it.
such a big
Free
thing.
the nipples.
Like, what was the reason?
I don't know. I forgot. There was like a funny thing. It was like, you know, when people mix 2 words together to like make one. Someone mixed like Captain Rex and, you know, titties, and I don't know. But
I hope this isn't a PG or a G.
That was probably. I love that.
Okay.
I loved that meme.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to figure out a segue out of that. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, you know, Zillow Beef,
So good.
Geonosis arc in there.
Ladies. Speaking of Ladylorians.
Celebration. Oh my God, Levi, you were at Celebration.
Oh my God.
No idea.
Isn't that
and
crazy?
There's probably so many times where we were like 50 feet away from you and we had no idea.
Yeah.
Levi and the ladies were talking about this before we started recording. And yeah, so all new nerds and Ladylorians were
there was almost a meetup.
Celebration. And imagine this. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay. So the Ladylorians
Ruthie's taking over. She's taking over.
The Ladylorians, you needed a segue, okay?
Sure.
The Ladylorians all went to the Holonet Marauders and Rex and Around meetup.
She's telling my
Marauding
story.
around. Well, yeah, and then Levi tells us, like, oh, actually, we didn't go to that because we wanted to see Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Imagine.
Valid.
He looked into my eyes and he smiled, Ruthie. He smiled at me.
Really?
Sure he did.
It's true. It was funny. I literally, as it happened, we all turned to each other. He's like, he smiled at me. No, he smiled at me.
Bro.
It was me. Because he looked at like right in our direction, and I'm pretty tall, and Johnny, like, there's 2 of us are pretty tall. Johnny is shorter, and Dylan's short in the middle. So we're like, who's looking? Who's looking? I was like, I swear he's looking at me. So, he looked like
only
we call out Johnny on his birthday.
He looked. I know. Yeah, he's my short king. He looked right at us. I swear to you, and he smiled like he just like the most warm. Oh my God, magical moment.
You didn't get it on camera? Did you rewatch the interview?
I mean, we were right there.
You only think this is so magical because you've never had a Ladylorian smile at you before. Okay. No. Let me tell you,
Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen.
I don't know. I think Ewan might. I think like Ewan's an honorary Ladylorian. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
We sent him a couple emails. He never responded back.
A couple emails.
Well, our people are going to meet his people for lunch.
Do you guys subscribe to the Corky Kenobi theory?
Corky Kenobi.
The Corky. I thought you.
Yeah, we're big fans of it.
Well, it is quirky. It's also
Yeah.
Do we believe?
I still believe in that. I was hoping there was going to be something in Kenobi about it, but
I really thought that Satine was going to be mentioned in Kenobi because. All right, let's talk about how.
Here we go. We're changing the accent.
No, okay. I do this all the time. I'm sorry. On Disney Plus, they said like, Kenobi required viewing, and they put all this stuff, and it was the Mandalore arc. I am brushing up on all the Mandalore arcs before Kenobi, and I'm like, boy, I can't wait to see Satine.
Wow.
That did not happen.
You got rickrolled.
That did not happen. We got ripped off. I was like, this wasn't even mentioned or alluded to in Kenobi. I was like, What?
Oh man, that would have been
You
so
draw?
cool if Anakin said something about it. So,
You draw such like a good point though,
Oh.
Ruthie. I'm just saying.
I can't.
Like,
I thought you said, "Are you drunk?"
they did. They've really like been putting out Mandalore content. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's totally a fair assumption to be like, no, we're gonna get some Mandalore Satine content in Kenobi, and then just.
Well, I mean, I
there's
feel
gonna
like
be season 2 of Kenobi, because maybe they bring her in there.
Oh well, I think.
Okay, wait, isn't she dead?
She is
She
dead.
is, but you know,
She's definitely
flashback.
dead.
in a flashback.
Well, yeah,
she's very dead.
Yeah.
She's
Very
very,
dead.
very
There's
dead.
nothing
we
you can do for
actually
her.
didn't get as
Flashback.
much flashbacks as I thought we were gonna get.
I
Yeah.
know the back to tank, bro. You had Obi-Wan in a back to tank, and you had so many opportunities for flashbacks, and then he was in there for like 30 seconds.
We
And
got like 2 Anakin flashbacks.
They were
he was
good
just
though.
like blub 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 blub.
That's what
and it
season
was
2
just
is
like
for.
Anakin.
Okay.
Season 2, I
Okay.
think, potentially, right? Because if he's going
Yeah,
on his
Potentially, not
his
gonna lie.
Force journey, with Qui-Gon, it's probably going to be a lot like what Yoda had to go through in the end of season 6 of Clone Wars, where he has to go on his like Force journey. So there's potential for a lot of visions, because Obi-Wan's got to learn how to become a Force ghost. So
Are we actually getting a season 2?
I hope so. I think so.
I hope so.
Because I'm not a fan of Redacted Plus doing this thing where they're like, where they're like limited series,
Giga
a limited time event, and then they're like, we're having a short limited series, and then they're like, surprise, season 2. I'm like,
The thing is that they made so much money off of Kenobi, and Ewan and Hayden want to come back, and so I'm
well,
like,
I have not seen the Kenobi frosted flakes in my Kroger yet.
In your bowl.
because they
So
came
where
out
are
free.
the, where's
No,
this
It's
money
true.
We
coming
should have bought it at Celebration, but we didn't.
For anybody who does not know.
I work at a Kroger, by the way. So
Wait,
shout
for
out.
real?
If you
Oh my
find
God.
them,
Shout
let
out
us know.
Kroger Corporation.
Well, it's
So-
a QFC, but we're owned by Kroger.
Yes, Kroger Corporation. But they
It's a
were
big
supposed
sponsored
to
by.
come out with sponsored by Kroger. So they were supposed to come out with this box of special edition Frosted Flakes, and it was going to be for Kenobi. It was dark side and light side, so it was like chocolate and regular.
Leave down below, audience. Which flakes you would prefer, the chocolate or the regular?
I've
Kenobi
never
flake?
tried a chocolate frosted flake. I don't want to know
I don't
it
like
because-
frosted flakes.
what side would I
Really?
be.
Frosted.
I like
Wait,
bran
what?
flakes because I'm an old woman.
I
What's your, okay, guys, what's your favorite? What's your favorite cereal?
I like old people cereals.
Me
Me-
too.
What does that? What does
Like-
that mean?
I love Raisin Bran.
Oh well,
I'm
that's
sorry.
that's good.
Raisin Bran is fire.
Nothing old about that. I love a good raisin.
That's
For me-
valid.
I don't know anyone. I don't know many people my age that agree with.
Really, Raisin Bran's
My
kind of
Raisin
grandma
banging.
does.
The raisins and Raisin Bran, I don't know what they're on, but they are just
Sugar.
Well,
I
it's
used to
sugar.
just
So
eat
good.
the raisins
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
of my mom's box
Yo,
of Raisin
me
Bran, and
too.
then
I'd be
she was
like,
so
"Sweet
mad
I did
at
that
me.
as well. Yeah, I did that
even
as
that
well.
bad boy.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
It was like it was like my shredded cheese experience, you know?
yes. For me, it's Crispix and Wheaties.
Yeah, that sounds like
That's
some
so
fake.
boring.
That sounds like some fake shit. What does that mean?
I'm a
Crispix?
classic
What about
cereal.
Kix?
Crispix.
Oh,
Did y'all like Kix?
No. No.
Kicks?
I
Oh,
didn't.
Like
No.
the clone trooper?
No, the
Yeah,
corn
he's a
Yes.
cereal now.
They're
Still isn't
cereal.
That's where he's
Spelled the
at.
same way. But
I'm a big
Cinnamon
Apple
Toast
Jacks
Crunch.
guy. Yeah,
Mm,
cinnamon toast crunch.
valid.
Yes.
Cinnamon Toast
Fruit
Crunch
Loops?
is fire.
Cereal pod.
I'm just cereal all over.
Impromptu cereal pod.
Do you ever remember, like, what was that? Do y'all remember? Do y'all remember? Like,
No.
apparently they had like prequels cereal boxes, and
Yes.
they would come with a lightsaber spoon.
A spoon. Yep.
A spoon
What?
that was like a light up lightsaber spoon.
My mom
I
never
do.
let me have nice cereal or like sugary cereal growing up. I was strictly like wheat thins.
Boo.
Wait.
Wheat
On the
thins.
spoon thing.
It's a cracker.
I'll be honest.
I mean not wheat thins.
It's like
Wheat.
she make you put it like in the bowl.
Yeah, she's like
Put
put
some-
some milk in there.
Wait, are you talking about wheat checks?
No,
How do you feel about cinnamon?
there's a
Cinnamon
yellow
Chex,
package.
like cereal.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Cinnamon
or like
Dex?
He wants to
No,
be a
like
part
Life.
of things. I apologize.
Like Life,
The
you know, like
cat.
Life cereal.
I'm not a life
Oh,
fan.
that's a very old person.
Is
cereal.
it? Oh.
Yeah, I feel like it is. Well, the thing is I am a strict Cheerio gal, because like
Okay.
honey
Nut or
whenever
basic?
I love me some honey nut, but I like to feel healthy sometimes, so I so I eat the regular one. But it's the only cereal that I feel like full after eating. Like I don't feel full after eating like Razor Bran or anything. So that's why I eat it.
I thought we were talking about space movies.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, were we ever?
No.
Were we
Sorry.
It
I've
all
gotten through
started
like
when
one of my
Ruthie-
questions.
Yeah,
Levi,
true.
sorry.
It all
Sorry.
started when Ruthie compared Phantom Menace to Barbie Mermaid.
I know, it was our downfall.
An
Sorry.
astute comparison.
Levi, we should do
I'll
like
be
a
honest,
rapid
guys.
fire. Like
Rapid-
boom, boom, boom.
Rapid
Yeah.
fire. Okay. What's your favorite space movie? Of the space movies. How about that, huh? If we're just
Are we
going,
going the same order?
if we're skipping all the pleasantries, we've been whatever. Go for it.
Any
Let's just
space
go.
movie?
Well, let's keep
Star Wars.
Sure.
Interstellar.
For you,
Oh.
Kath, sure. Any space movie. Interstellar, great. It's a good pick.
See, I'm actually a fan of the Star Wars franchise, so
I've heard
I'm
of it.
gonna have to go.
Unrelatable.
My two favorite space movies are Rogue One and A New Hope.
Okay.
Unrelatable.
Valid.
Do you watch them back to back as one thing?
No,
Oh.
Oh, okay.
no,
Yeah.
I have the attention span of a goldfish.
I see.
I couldn't tell based on how you
Yeah,
answered.
understandable.
Have you ever watched our podcast?
I have. Well, I have.
I'm so sorry. You probably. It's hard to
Dodge,
laugh.
what's your favorite space movie?
Dodge gets mad at us sometimes.
Yeah, I'm
He's the one
really.
that's
Yeah,
recording
if
it.
you can't tell, it's yeah. I have to edit a lot. But mine's Solo. But growing up, it was Revenge of the Sith. But Solo's become my new favorite. Yeah.
Nice. Good picks. Good picks.
Good picks all around.
Any particular? Well, here, no. Let me reel back in myself because I had real questions to ask about your experience in fandom.
Okay.
But this podcast has just gone so
Sorry.
it's just we're cruising. We're cruising. Where the place I wanted to go in my head was I wanted to ask about because I didn't know that you guys were like newer fans. I didn't honestly know that.
Surprise.
That's not something I knew. But because I know you guys do cosplay, at least somewhat. I mean, I've seen you in costume. But coming into the fandom, like I know it's tough because there's such good parts of our fandom and there's bad. There's some real not nice parts of this the online internet community, especially in Star Wars.
Yes.
And like what has it been like coming into an environment that can be so toxic sometimes? Because it even being white male, it's hard to like look and be like, why do I even want to be part of like anywhere near this? It's hard for me to be a fan and have to exist in the same space with these people.
With some of the crap.
It's honestly like at first, like when I made my Twitter and like dived into the Star Wars community, I didn't realize how many Star Wars fans hated Star Wars. And then I made the Twitter, and then for like the first month, I was just like, oh, post whatever, follow whatever, say what I want. But then I see like people with like 200 followers saying the wrong opinion and, getting totally booted off the app, totally like just dogged on. And it made me really scared to like be in the community for a while. I was so scared that I was going to slip up and be, a fan of the wrong character or the wrong ship or something like that. And then just get absolutely obliterated and like have all these labels thrown on me of like who I am as a person. Like that was so scary because I remember there was this instance, especially with like Raylo, people like how much backlash and bullying that they face on Twitter. And there's an instance where I saw this take and someone was calling Reylo fans R-word apologists and abuse enablers, and racist was one of them at some point. I don't know, because I guess Kylo's take on, Star Wars, being in the Star Wars, like what he does in the Star Wars. But I was so scared. But then I met the Ladylorians, and then I was like, you know what? I have my small circle, and that's all I need. And I'm just gonna, not worry about it. I'm gonna like what I like and post what I want. And and you can see if you look at my posts.
You just set up a really good springboard for what I was going to add to the conversation about finding your group and finding your people. I personally feel like I had a really unique experience falling in with a group of women specifically. So how the Ladylorians met, for those who don't know, was like our Twitters, we really started to spend more time on them when, all of our classes got canceled because of the pandemic and we were home and had a lot of extra time on our hands. And I started sending out Zoom links when Zoom was new, and just kind of inviting people to these sort of Star Wars open houses and just saying come hang out on Zoom if you're bored at home, world just got turned upside down, let's just have fun and talk about things that we like. And people would get on them and they'd be really big at first, and then the longer we'd stay on, they'd dwindle down, and I'd tweet new ones out every day, and it started to be this small consistent group that started coming back, and that became the Ladylorians. And then we stopped tweeting our Zoom links publicly and just started FaceTiming and Zooming with one another, and made our group chat. And I don't know, that was really helpful, because the Star Wars fandom is very intimidating, and there is this false narrative that is pushed by a lot of people that it's a male dominated fandom, which is literally not true. If you go outside and go to Celebration, it's look around. Okay. So I mean, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of the stuff of I was intimidated by the amount of content, things there were to know. I was always more afraid, and I'm still afraid about not knowing enough, especially as a girl in the fandom, because there's memes about it and everything, but it's true. When you first often on the internet or in person, when you meet a guy and you're wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, or you say you're a Star Wars fan, or they see your Star Wars lock screen, it's oh, are you a real fan, or are you just you wearing it for male attention, or who's Darth Revan? It's okay, come on.
Remember that one? Yeah, that was the whole thing.
As a girl, I feel there's always this fear that you're gonna be quizzed, or you're gonna be put under the gun to prove yourself as a fan. But then I realized I don't have to know everything to be a fan. Being a fan insinuates that you enjoy something, and that you're a part of a community voluntarily because you enjoy something. And what I've told people on our podcast, on other podcasts, is Star Wars is like a charcuterie board. Okay. So if you only want to eat the grapes and the fruit off of the charcuterie board, and you want to leave the salami and leave the cheese, then do that. It's a variety platter. There's something for everyone. If you don't like the animated shows, you don't have to watch the animated shows, and you don't have to make any commentary on the animated shows, and come for the people that enjoy them. I mean, even within the Ladylorians, we have our differences with the things that we ship, and the characters that we like, and the movies that we like and dislike. But we're still here. We're still all friends, and we still all are enjoying and celebrating the same thing. And I feel we can overlook those small differences. So in summary, I would say yes, there are parts of entering this fandom, especially as a woman or a perceived minority, that is intimidating, but you just have to fall in with your people, and your people will rally around you and protect you and ensure that you have a good experience. Dodge?
Yeah.
Good answer. Yeah, can you follow that?
Oh, okay. I think it's also like important to note that like we were all on like Stan Twitter. So, you know, we were very the extreme hyperfixation of Star Wars. And so we saw a lot. And that was like our life for like months while during COVID and stuff. And I think what was so nice about having each other was that we all, like Ruthie said, we have different points that we like loved each other. Like Kath and Izzy were obsessed with the games and obsessed with like Clone Wars, and which was really helpful because whenever we had questions about something, we could always go to them about like, what did the game say about this, or what did the Clone Wars say about this, or you know, Kenzie knew a lot about Kylo and Rey and about the sequels, and so if we had any questions on that, I could go to that, go to Kenzie and say, you know, how does this relate? Why, you know, what's this blue butterfly thing that everyone's talking about with Kylo? Like, in all these different things. Ruthie's like loves the music and loves the music of it, loves a New Hope and loves a Luke story and stuff. And mine was like, I was very fixated on, you know, the Mandalorian himself and that kind of era, and Han. So like we all had these things like that we knew a lot about, and it helped because it made us feel like it wasn't like we were missing something, that we were like dumb for not knowing something, because we had each other to feed off of each other and learn from each other. And so like any fan that wants to, or is in the fandom or wants to be in the fandom or whatever, like it's, you know, it's important to know that you don't have to know anything, and you can know everything if you want, but you're not going to, because there's so much out there. But it's important to find yourself a group of people that have, you know, these, you know, love the books or love the video games or love, you know, whatever, and be able to ask them questions, or like even cosplay people, like people who really know a lot about building armor and stuff. It's so nice to have friends that have all this knowledge, because then you don't have to know it yourself, you just have to know someone who knows it. So I think that's what helped it make it feel like less toxic for us itself, because we were not judgmental for each other. We just wanted to help each other if we wanted to learn more.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ironies is that these people who are like talking about, you know, they use the terms like true fans, and when you
real
look
fan,
like real fans, and like when you look at some of the people who make like the best Star Wars, like Tony Gilroy is making Andor, and he doesn't care, like he doesn't know the difference between like a Wookiee and an Ewok. Like, I mean, I'm sure he does, but like as an example, like he's not that deep into the lore, but he still makes really good content. Like these people the people who make, George Lucas famously didn't really care that much about like the really minute stuff. He cared about the story, and he cared about how people connect to the characters, and that sort of mentality of like wanting to quiz people of like, tell me what years the Clone Wars started, huh? It's like, and it's like, stop, like who cares? It's just, yeah, that stuff.
Levi, you're so right. Like people get so detached from George Lucas himself and how George Lucas views his own empire and his own creation. Like, I mean, Mark Hamill tweeted the other day, you know, that actors on set of the original movies would ask, George, do you want us to say Han or Han, or is it Leia or Leah? And he's like, I don't care.
I don't really
he's
care.
like, people say it differently in different parts of the galaxy. And I mean, people just get detached. Like, yes, there's parts of Star Wars that are serious, and Rogue One is a war movie, and you know, like there's a lot of content there that's for adults. But at the end of the day, we need to remember, George says again and again, his mantra is, I do this for kids. Star Wars is for kids. It's made for kids. And we are a bunch of adults engaging with children's media, and we need to take it easy on ourselves and take it easy on one another, and you know, support one another if we want to learn. And I think the second that your experience as a fan becomes more like homework, and like you're pressuring yourself, or other people are pressuring you to do something and learn something and go read something and go watch something, it takes all the fun out of it. Watch what you want to watch, you know, read what you want to read, engage with what you want to engage with, and just, if you don't like the rest, don't talk about it. You don't have to touch it with a 10-foot pole, you know? Just live in your little happy Star Wars bubble and talk about the things that make you happy. Like, I don't know.
I think, the biggest one of my favorite George examples of that is when asked how Anakin got his scar, he responded that he slipped and fell in the bathtub.
Yeah, I mean, like, who
And
cares, bro?
That was his response. Or like in canon, technically, Obi-Wan Kenobi is from the planet Stewjon, and that's because Jon Stewart was interviewing him and asked what planet is Obi-Wan from, and on the stage he said Stewjon, and it's been canon ever since. Like he just moved Jon Stewart's name. Like
hilarious.
Like he doesn't care. Like he's here to. He's a menace. He's here
to have a good time.
He's here to have a good time. Like he just makes.
And that's what being a fan is about.
All from this guy's
arguably.
brain. Like I don't know. It's Sometimes it's not that deep.
Yeah,
exactly. I agree.
Yeah, good answers all around. Thank you. That was about the 40 minutes mark in there. There's a real podcast. There's a real.
Wow.
There's some content there. Wow.
Minus the 20 minutes that you have to cut out
the Barbie.
Wow, no, that all stays in. That's a good.
Nah.
That's good.
You got 5 minutes of cat content too.
and the serial content.
People stay for the cat.
Yes.
There's always an animal on our podcast. So.
Yeah.
It's always him.
Same
It's
here.
always him for me. I have a dog with me right now named Leia.
Nice.
No,
Not nice.
not a dog person. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Me neither.
Okay, I think I am a dog
Apologies.
person. I'm not a dog person when they live with me.
Okay.
Understandable.
Okay.
That's how
I like other dogs.
Yeah.
I think it's just the responsibility. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not ready to be a mother.
Dogs are a lot. Yeah.
I have a little.
They're
dog
babies.
They are babies. Well, yeah, most of the time. I have a dog named Moneypenny, little cute little dog.
Moneypenny?
Yeah. Like from James Bond.
What?
So, I don't know James Bond well.
Oh.
I was
That's
like,
funny. That's a long name though.
with no context.
we call her-
very
Well, we
random.
call her.
back
I mean, we call her Penny. Like.
Yeah,
most of
okay.
the time,
Oh, cute.
But
My cat is just named Nick. His name's Nick.
Mick. Nice.
Nick.
Very
Just
human.
like Nicholas, but Nick.
Gotcha. I heard Mick like just like
Mickey
beginning
Like
Mouse.
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger or McDonald's.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There's a whole. My last name is Bond. My middle name is James. So there's a whole Bond.
Oh,
There's a whole Bond motif in my family.
That's good.
So it's like
That's
the dog
good.
yeah, my parents' dog is
Iconic.
Yeah.
that is
it's-
iconic. That's
It
You have
has
to
to-
tell
it has
people
to be
you're
done.
related to James Bond. The movies
Allegedly-
are made after someone.
They are. Allegedly, I am. According to my grandfather, I am related to that guy who it's based
Is
on.
his name James?
Yeah, Well, yeah. Yeah. No.
That's so cool.
Ian Fleming wrote novels based off this. He took the name from an ornithologist named James Bond who was working in like the Bahamas, and allegedly I'm related to that guy. But
Vibes.
I don't know if that's
That's
true.
really
Wow.
I don't know if that's true.
That's
I mean,
a cool thing to
I-
share at parties.
I've been
dude.
told. I know, right? It's a great like.
Yeah.
Bond, Levi Bond.
Mhm.
The
good.
name's Bond. Levi
That's good. It's
Bond.
good. Well, after that was pretty. Even in that conversation, like when I asked earlier about that character from Bloodline, I was like, do I take this Glup Shadow shot and sound like a like I was like, 'cause I'm like if she knows who I'm talking
No.
about, then it's like, oh yeah, cool. But I just like
No,
it's tough.
it's all about like tone, you know, like people. I have no problem people like asking me random questions and me being like, no, I don't know who it is. But if they're like chill with it, like it's fine. But the people that are like,
Oh, you don't
you're a
know?
Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
yeah, I like my
Darke.
favorite.
And you call yourself a fan.
yeah, like
Have you seen the Clone Wars? Name every clone. Like,
yeah,
that's
Yeah,
what-
literally.
exactly.
Name every clone, bro.
Yeah, we started like when we were in the Mandalorian like Twitter area, like it became a big thing that Din Djarin's full name was like Dinjamin Djarin, and so like that became a big thing of like people would be
I
like,
love
oh
that
yeah,
era.
what's Din Djarin's real name? Then people would be like, what?
Dinjamin.
So
Mm,
Dinjamin. So
That's
if
a
you ever
good-
see a Dinjamin, it's because of that.
I still call him that.
I didn't know that actually. Dinjamin,
Yeah.
Dinjamin, that's lore I didn't know. Wow.
Dinjamin Djarin.
You
Do
learn
you
something new
remember?
every day.
Do y'all remember
No.
before we saw Din Djarin's name in subtitles and we thought it was spelled DYN
Yes.
JARREN?
Yeah.
That was
Oh, like,
before
it
we
was,
had
like, one
ever
name?
seen-
Yeah, Din
Yeah.
Djarin.
No.
Yeah.
Not one name. Like with a first and last name. But we thought Din everybody on the internet thought
D-Y-N.
Din was spelled D-Y-N, and then his last name was spelled J-A-R-R-E-N.
Yeah,
because we had
'cause
only ever heard
this
his
is-
name spoken,
this is Mandalorian
like in
trivia for ya.
interviews and stuff. But
Because
But
It
yeah,
came out because Pager like said it, right? Didn't he? Like,
Yeah,
wasn't that-
yeah, he
So-
said it in a behind the scenes before the
Before
Mandalorian
Man
came out.
Yeah.
He was like, I play a character named Din Djarin, and everyone was like, oh, it has to be the spelling.
you were like, oh.
Yeah, we thought we were so smart, and then they actually
Girl,
said it in the show,
I
and the
remember-
subtitles were different. We were like, oh my god, we're so dumb.
I remember reading fan fiction where they spelled it like that.
Oh my god, the good old days.
D-Y-N.
That was one of the-
Anyway.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest letdowns of Kenobi is Reva's last name is Savander and they never say it. Her name's Reva Savander.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
sick,
such a
sick
cool
name.
name.
And then they never said it. And I was like,
I
Damn.
want to learn more about her and know everything
hopefully
about
we
her.
will. I mean,
I
it's
love
I like
her.
her
A
for a
spin-off.
lot.
Yeah,
She was so interesting.
have you guys had a chance to rewatch Kenobi yet?
Um,
Nope.
I kind of did a simultaneous, like, this sounds stupid. I did a simultaneous rewatch as it was airing because I
Yeah.
would watch the
Watch-
episode at 3 a.m. when it came out, like with Dodge and Dak Jarin and Noah Mauer and Kinsey, like our friends. And then I would watch it again later that night with my family. And so I watched them like twice or at least twice, 3 times, like multiple times as it was airing. So I've seen all the episodes multiple times.
Yeah, I do.
It's
Yeah, I just I've had a chance to watch it through one more time, like since it's
Uh-huh.
aired, and her character just takes on a whole different meaning, having seen the end of the show and like understanding
Mhm.
what her
And
arc
going
is, and
back.
there's scenes that just hit so much differently. They're like, whoa, like that's so cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
just,
think Reva is like a perfect bad guy because she has her own agenda. Like she's playing aside, but only to like succeed in what she wants, which is super cool because she's not on either side technically, which I think makes her the ultimate villain because she's opposing everything, I
And
think
yet
that she was a really good villain.
and I love the way it plays to the because she had in her head, right? She's like, oh, I'm actually, I'm actually working against the Empire, but she's not. Like you're on the dark side, Reva. Like you've done all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
hated how that was somehow a criticism of the show was like, oh, Reva's meant to be going after Vader, and yet she's done all this bad stuff. I'm like, that's the whole point. Is like the dark side. It leads you down this path. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
how she gets to Vader.
I know it's like
She wants power.
And she's like
Bruh.
it's not like oh she's a good guy. Like it's corrupted her. Like I feel like that was the whole
Yeah,
point of the
I have
character
seen
is how
he
it.
was
So
trying to be like
many-
undercover cop, but became
Well, she got too deep.
There are-
Yeah.
dude. Yeah,
There are so many invalid criticisms of her character that are reaching for straws, grasping at straws when it's just people don't like a female villain and people
I
don't
know.
like to see a black
and
female
the worst
villain.
part of
And
it
it's
is
like, stop
it's-
trying.
People like to say, oh well, if it was only a new character, like in other material where like I don't know, it's an old book and they gender bend a character, and they're like, oh, we'll
Yeah.
just make new characters, and then they make a new character, and like
yes,
and they're like,
And
no,
they
but
complain.
why does it exist? I'm like, what do you
Yeah.
want? Like, there's no
people
winning.
like the thing is with Star Wars fans is that we want to know everything as soon as it comes out.
As soon as it
like,
comes out, just wait.
and so like the same
yeah.
thing with like the Mandalorian. Like when we finished season 1 of the Mandalorian, everyone like a lot of people were upset because we were like, oh yeah, we have to wait for season 2 to find out more. But people were like, we don't know anything about Din's backstory. We don't know anything. And then
know.
like, and so
everything
like that
always
got
gets
criticized.
answered.
And so like yes, everything will eventually get answered, and we just hate we are not patient. And so Disney is like starting to realize that and changing a lot of their like content to give us
Which I
more
don't
answers,
which I don't like.
which I don't
necessarily.
like because
Yeah.
I like to be like I want the suspense of like wanting to watch a new show because I need to know something,
Star Wars needs an element of mystery because that's what keeps it charming and keeps it interesting. And like here, I'm gonna throw out this question to y'all because I'm curious because it's something that I've been pondering lately. Do we want Grogu to be our token to learning more about Yoda's species, or do we want that to remain a mystery?
I'm team mystery personally.
Yeah.
I would say mystery because I think it's just so it's already like established that we don't know. So
Yeah.
I think
and
he's
everyone's like
our
okay with it.
yeah. I think he's a token maybe into future storytelling, like post Rise of Skywalker era, because he'll be alive for so long.
Sure.
but
Yeah.
but I don't know if I want necessarily more about his species. Like
Yeah, like a lot
I
of
don't know
people are
that.
wondering, are we finally gonna learn the name of Yoda's species? I'm like, why do you care, bro?
Wait,
Like,
guys. So Disney owns the Muppets, right?
It's true.
Right.
yeah.
So they could make an entire like Muppet-esque Yoda
Planet.
movie.
Oh,
That'd be cool, Planet, and then it combines
like
Muppets.
Kermit is like
Oh my gosh,
the center of
good.
the
That would
center
be
of the
sick.
gap.
You know
Kermit's the
the
leader.
swamp where Kermit is sitting playing music and singing.
Yes.
That's where they're from.
That's
Yeah.
Dagobah.
Yeah, it's on,
Literally.
that's on the other side of Dagobah.
Also,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I wonder if
He's
Yoda's
just separated
species,
from his clan.
I wonder if Yoda's species hails from Dagobah, or if that's just where Yoda chose to take refuge. You know what I mean?
We
I don't
only
know.
know.
And we
only
don't
know
see very many. So is he rare? Is a lot of did his like species get wiped out? Who
know
knows?
of
You can
3.
do so much with mystery, and that's like my favorite part about it.
Yeah,
I
I think
think-
like I'm hoping that they kind of. I hope the main focus. I would not be mad if like Din becomes Mandalore and then Grogu takes the honor of Mandalore after
I think
him.
that's what. Yeah. where
And
that's
so
gonna
like
go.
to me I think that would be good because it sticks to the Mandalorian like
Yes.
arc or whatever in Star Wars, like their importance, but also brings in the fact that like Grogu is also like an outsider and whatever. But like I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, what killed me was back when Mandalorian was coming out, and everyone was people who had already seen stuff before and were screaming about how this isn't how Mandalorians work. Why aren't they taking off their helmets? And I was like, just wait.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, there's an answer. Like Dave Filoni is making the show. Clearly, he didn't forget about everything he did.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then the next season, I was watching with people, and when Bo-Katan like shows up and she takes off her helmet, people who I was watching was like, oh, she's not a real Mandalorian. I was like, how the tables
Yeah.
turned. It was so funny.
It's-
like,
It's
Talk about
I'm
putting
very-
your foot in your mouth.
yeah, I
What?
love the Mandalorian story so much just because we're learning so much in it, and it's not really. I don't even know anything. I'm just kind of
yeah,
there.
what are you guys looking
vibing.
forward to most in Star Wars coming up?
Do we know if they're still planning on releasing Acolyte?
I don't know. I haven't
Yes.
heard anything.
They
I
are.
haven't heard anything
They are?
either, but that is like what I'm most excited about. 100%. I
No,
feel
they're-
like we don't get enough Sith content. I would love to see like old era, like I don't know, Darth Bane, or maybe like a Plagueis movie talking about like where Palpatine came from or something. Like I just want more Sith, please.
For me, I would say Skeleton Crew because I'm really excited to learn about the galaxy like through the eyes of youth, you know, like through young people, and to see what it was like, you know. And we don't really know when it's set yet, do we? I don't know.
It's
But,
Mando
like,
era.
It's Mando era, so like, you know, what was it like to grow up under the reign of the Empire, you know? And we get to see a little bit of that, you know, with Luke and Leia, but Luke was in the outer rim, you know, he wasn't really affected by the, you know, the Empire's reign. And then Leia is royalty, you know, so she had a very different experience. So I just think that will explore some very new territory. It seems super interesting, and I don't see a lot of people talking about it, so I'll say that. And then also, I'm a big fan of Taika Waititi, so whatever Star Wars project he gets to work on, I think he's gonna breathe new life into the franchise and take it some really cool directions and explore some areas that have not been explored. And you know, like you said before, Levi, like it's always sometimes the best stories are told when somebody who doesn't have a very intimate relationship with Star Wars or, you know, with the franchise comes in and, you know, gives their own take and stuff. And yeah, so I'm interested to see what he does as well.
Yeah. I Skeleton Crew I am really excited for because we haven't had any like fun Star Wars content recently that isn't based off like a serious like issue. Like even Bad Batch was very serious. Like even though it's kids, like it was serious.
It opened
Boba
with
Fett was
Order
serious.
66.
I know, and so I hope Skeleton Crew is more of like a laid back, like just kids exploring space and not really having big responsibilities and stuff, because we have not seen that in Star Wars. I also would say, obviously, I'm a big Mando fan, so Mando season 3, super excited.
Have you guys
And
peeped
Bad
that
Batch.
trailer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were
in the
there.
panel.
We were there when they showed.
We
Well-
were in
Yeah.
the room where it
Well,
happened.
the new
There's
one.
a new one. I
Yeah,
did see
'cause
some of the new one.
Because we did not make the first panel, but at the second panel, the Mando Plus one, they showed the trailer you saw and like 2 minutes more of footage. And I was wondering if you guys saw that, because that's out there. That's been
I've
floating
seen
around.
some of the new. I didn't know there was 2.
Oh yeah, it's like they like
minutes
doubled
more.
what you guys saw, because it was
I
awesome.
feel like maybe I had, but it looked like it was filmed on a microwave, and so I couldn't really see
It does
anything.
look like that.
Yeah.
It does look like that. Where
Yeah.
you see
On
where you see like
TI-86.
the baby like you see Grogu's like Mandalorian helmet, and
Shut
That's
up! Don't.
that's a real
Shut
thing. Yeah,
up.
he's got a baby helmet.
How did I miss it?
That's a thing.
You're
And then-
lying. Don't even.
I'm not lying.
Don't.
I'm
pull
not
me
Where
lying.
do
like
his
that.
ears go?
No
like,
way.
There's like
You're
there's
lying.
like gaps on the side. Like it's
You're
like a
you
wide
are
visor.
lying.
I am not lying. I'm not lying.
What?
It's like the
No,
armor
you're
like
not.
holding it to him. It's like a child helmet, and then it's like big and has the. No, I'm telling you.
Are you
It's
sure it's
real.
real?
I was
There's
in the
no
room. I was there.
Oh.
I saw it with my
What?
eyes. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and
That's
then
like
this,
Dodge's dream
there's a
come true
whole
over
there's
here.
a whole second half
Yeah,
of that
this is
trailer,
like
man.
everything I've
With
wished
all
for. For the
Wait,
and
past.
like
How
Bo-Katan,
did
she
I
goes
miss
to
that,
she
bro?
goes to Mandalore and she's on Sundari.
What? We
Like
saw
the bombed
that.
out. Well, like did you see like the bombed out capital from like Book of Boba, like the way it looks there? Because they showed that, and then
I think they did show that. And they showed her on the throne.
yeah,
And
that's
they showed her talking to Grogu.
yeah, the
and
trailer
they
you
showed
saw.
Mando with a bunch of Mandos.
the trailer you saw. I think ends where she says, "Your dad isn't the only Mandalorian."
Yes.
But
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
but then in the one we see, it just keeps going, and like, oh, it's a whole thing. It's wild. It's wild.
Really?
Grogu with ear sockets on
Yeah,
helmets?
homie.
I
homie's got
I
ear
don't think
sockets.
I've seen a good leak of that.
Okay, let me. Oh, it's
If you
it's.
find it, can you send it to us? Because I'm gonna
Yeah,
need to
let me-
jump on that. Because whenever I see it pop up, I think it's the same trailer. So I
No,
haven't
no.
really like watched it.
Yeah, the second half
I
has
also
like.
kind of wanted to be surprised. So
Yeah, should I
was
say any
waiting
more?
for it to be released.
I don't know if I want to say any more. Then if you want to,
Because
I don't know. Because like
Sorry.
in the stuff we saw, there's like you see Pershing and like the like you see the Star Destroyers on. It looks like Coruscant, but maybe Corellia. Like in. I don't know if you saw. I don't know. I guess that wasn't in your version, but
No.
Well, if you see it, let us know.
good shit. It's good. It's like really
Yeah.
good. It's got me hyped.
As it should.
Yeah, the armor is like beating fish people. She's like hitting people in the back. It's a whole thing.
As she should.
Also, as she should. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know if I want to say anymore. I'll send you guys
Okay.
a link to that.
Okay.
Okay. Sweet.
Well, yeah, after the show. Let's see. I'm trying to gauge right now because we've been going for a sizable, a podcast length, but I don't know how much is going to get cut out and how much is going to stay in. So I maybe ask a couple more questions. Then I'll have I do have one final surprise that we could do for all our guests. We do have a little a game, if you would, not a game, but
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay.
an activity
Okay.
to partake in that Dodge will be really mad, and you'll see.
Uh-oh.
But it's not my fault.
Okay.
I swear. I didn't do it. But here, before we get there, I think we talked about so much, and yet we haven't even broke the surface. Man, there's so many things to ask. But yeah, screw it. Why not? Well, maybe this will spur conversation.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
On every time we have a guest on since the inception of the channel, we had so we started where the three of us on the show, we made a tier list of all the Star Wars content and like it combined all our opinions. So,
Oh God.
like Empire Strikes Back is an A, that sort of thing, and all the projects are on there. But then every time we have a guest on, they get to move one thing on the tier list. And so then as we've had guests on, it is just anywhere. It has become like the worst Star Wars list, I think, of all time. Like, it is one of the worst things I've ever seen. And so here we go. We'll share the tier list here. This is what it looks like. Resistance is at the top. Solo is an F. It's a cursed list. And in each category, it is an order of.
Not right, Skywalker on B tier. That's generous.
Yeah,
you
Solo.
Put Solo.
I didn't do it.
B?
I ddidn't do it. I didn't do this. Okay.
All right.
The people we brought on.
What guest put Solo on the F tier?
I think it was either Corey or Aubrey.
Corey or Aubrey?
Yeah. Well, because Corey and Aubrey, because each guest gets their own. So Corey or Aubrey put Resistance at S at the top and put Solo at the bottom. They did a dual maneuver of they assassinated the list.
Corey and Aubrey, if you're listening to this, how dare you?
That's to my memory. I could be wrong about that.
You're starting beef, bro.
I could be wrong because it may have been Wikipedia who moved Resistance to S. I definitely know one of Corey or Aubrey put Solo to F. I want to say. I know we've had so many guests on. I don't want to put that on them.
The Clone Wars movie is on S.
Yeah, the Clone Wars movie is on S. I could be misremembering, but each of you gets to move one. Like I said, so many people have moved things around. The HoloNet Marauders, every time they move things up and down, it's a whole thing. This does not reflect my opinions.
Solo is F.
Oh, Solo is an S.
I have to put Solo on S. I would be getting rid of my brand if I didn't do that.
Now where in S? Because I agree with you. Solo is one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
I feel like I don't believe it goes, first, but I feel like it goes before Resistance. So I'm like,
I know it's a delicate. You guys can scheme and maybe move something down. And
I feel like I have to put Solo before Resistance because that's just blasphemy. I cannot have that low. And whatever. Now it's your turn, Ruthie.
Okay, see, Ruthie is typically all about, and the Ladylorians are all about celebrating Star Wars positivity.
I think Ruthie's gonna take a sequel movie out if I had to.
No, I'm not messing with sequel territory. I mean, the real ones know how I feel about the sequels, but I'm not trying to mess with that. Okay. So, if I were playing it safe, I would just move something like Episode 4 or Rogue up. I'm gonna be really bold and go against the Ladylorians positivity grade. I'm gonna move Book of Boba Fett down because y'all are being being generous. Like, let's be real. That needs to go in some C or D territory.
See, of this list, that's the one. Oh man, that hurts.
This is funny because
are you a Book of Boba Fett apologist?
I am a huge Book of Boba stan.
It's funny because our Book of Boba Fett episodes, we were so like, everyone needs to stop.
I know. That's what I was like. I watched one of the things I watched.
The first episode, I was a hater. The first episode
literally
of our Book
one of the
Boba
first
Fett
things I watched
show,
of yours was like episode 6. And Ruthie, what you were saying, you were talking about how it's like this chapter of the greater Mandalorian story. I'm like, yes, preach. This is what I'm saying. It's all part of this story. And I hear you are, and you're moving it down to D.
I'm not on my podcast right now. I'm on your podcast. Okay.
So is it D? Are we putting Book of Boba in D?
We've never said anything about Book of Boba Fett. Put it in D.
Oh my god.
We've never said anything about Book of Boba Fett after the finale came out. Okay, bro.
I write and die book. I mean, I write all
that
for me.
Finale erased the stakes of Mando seasons 1 and 2, like in 30 seconds.
Listen,
this is controversial.
Levi, you can have me back on anytime. I'll go all day.
Kath, what are you gonna do?
This is such an unpopular opinion, so I just want to apologize before I do it.
God. Kath, silent but deadly.
I'm gonna put Rebels at C.
Ruth,
I'm sorry. It's not
what is this
or anything. It's just that I wasn't into it. I had to make myself watch it.
Ruthie deserves that because Ruthie's a big Rebel fan. So that's what you get.
I'm the kind of fan who
Sure.
puts it all in S, but this
Bro,
is
I'm debating putting Book of
That's
Boba
a
Fett
cop
in
out.
C.
that's a cop
No,
out.
you
Is that what
can't take it back. You can't take it back.
I mean, Kathy,
That's your legacy.
if you put a gun to my head, I could make a list, but I don't know. I like all of Star Wars, so that's how I like to roll. I guess it's a cop out, but hey, if I must, yeah.
Do you get to move something, or do you have no say?
No, I have no say. I have to watch and
Oh,
suffer
that's
as
so hard.
my sweet baby Tem gets thrown into D.
You're gonna get like a really You're gonna get like Dave Filoni on the podcast
Every
and you're gonna
time,
pull this up, and he's
it'd
gonna be like, "Oh God."
I love him. It's not personal.
See, the problem with this is a lot of people we come on put things in S because they want to move something there. So what ends up happening is we just have this list that just looks like a gun, and every time it's just like it's a pistol.
Oh, that's funny.
And it kills people's love of Star Wars because
I gotta
people
I
choose
had
violence.
to put Solo up. Solo is like
All right. Well,
my legacy.
All right.
So
that was the
Sorry, I have to go. I am getting really nauseous because I haven't eaten since before I worked today, and
that's not good.
I'm about to go to sleep because I'm dying. So had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this. Thank you guys.
Oh, it seems like we cat might be outroing the episode as we.
The cat might be outroing.
No,
I see
Cat.
using you.
Oh,
It looks like.
Are we done?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to.
I mean, you guys feel free to continue without me. I'm starting to feel sick, so I have to go.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. No,
I'll
please,
outro myself.
Yeah, please outro. You can cut that out. You can outro yourself.
Outro Cat.
I had a lot of fun today. I'm glad to be, back on the podcast. It's been a while since, I've filmed and feel like we filmed in general. Little MIA, but we're getting there. So I just want to say thank you for having me on here and the rest of the Ladylorians, and maybe we can do this again, maybe on our podcast.
Oh yeah, I would hope
Bye,
we
Kath.
talk again. But yeah, thank you for coming on, Kathy. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. All
Love
right.
you.
Have a great day, guys. Love you guys.
What's your most controversial Star Wars take? Why not? We'll end in chaos. We'll end in chaos. How about that? If you've made it this long, viewer, if you made it through, if you we appreciate you obviously, but we'll reward you with some hot takes.
Oh my gosh, I have to think about this one because I try to suppress my bad feelings about Star Wars so they don't come out.
It doesn't have to be a bad hot take. I mean, I think most people would probably disagree with you that Solo is an S tier. I'm with you.
Controversial. Okay.
They are all wrong.
That's
That's not controversial. I'm right. So.
I'm with you. Solo is yeah. So the Solo score, easily the best score. Sorry. John
Ruthie,
Powell,
what's your controversial take?
John Powell outclassed.
Well, one of my takes is negative but not controversial. And it's pretty fundamental to my Star Wars viewing experience, and it deals with one of my favorite characters, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I have some opinions about Luke's journey, but I'm not going to share them. Because I know that there is justification for them, whatever. Okay. Okay, here's the controversial opinion I'll share for now because of the game that we just did with the tiers of content. Grogu should have never been in the Book of Boba Fett at all. I feel like it
Choosing violence
crossed over with the Mandalorian way too much. I feel like decisions that were made in the Book of Boba Fett erased some of the stakes from previous seasons of The Mandalorian. And I feel like the reunion between Din and Grogu was very rushed and it didn't hold any emotion for me.
That's a good one.
I don't feel like Grogu should have been in the Book of Boba Fett.
A point in which I could not disagree more, but I appreciate.
I just feel bad for
I
the
appreciate
people
the
that
take.
aren't gonna watch Boba. and now they're gonna
No.
first episode.
To me,
of
it's just
Mandalorian,
it's
they're
like season 3 of Mando, and that's what they said. That, you know, Kathy, my
Yeah.
queen, was like, it's the next chapter of the Mandalorian, and I was
No,
like,
no, I get that. Yeah.
that's what. Yeah, I cannot stress you enough. When I listened to your pod on episode 6, you were like saying exactly my thoughts, and now here you are. You're,
I
you
had
lying.
different
don't
thoughts.
never make
I
your
sat
heroes,
with
guys.
it. I sat with it for a while, and I saw the finale, and I'm just like, you know, when I was coming down from that episode 6 high, I was so excited to see Lukey Pookie, and now I'm like, I call Luke Pookie. That's a thing I do. But I don't know. I've had some more time to think about it, and I was very underwhelmed with the finale, and I was not at all expecting Din and Grogu to actually be reunited in that series. I thought that would be saved for season 3 of Mando.
I think they just have to. They don't want to, like, where I think Mando season 3 is going. The scope is just so big that I don't think they wanted to waste any episodes on getting them back together. And ultimately, if Grogu is not meant to be with Luke, then doing it the way they did, like, we literally got like a Luke Skywalker episode, like that to me. And we got the episode with Din without his kid, fatherless, you know, or childless father. He's out there. We got that ep. We got the ep where they, you know, we see what Grogu's doing, and we see why they got to be back together. I mean, I don't know. I think they are what make, like, the Mandalorian is ultimately about both of them. They're both the Mandalorian, and Grogu, I think, got brought up, will become Mandalore at some point. I mean, I think that's sort of what they're getting at, right? He's a foundling. Like, he's the ultimate idea of what a Mandalorian could be. Anyone could be a Mandalorian. So I don't know. I enjoy the fact that that development was done. So when we hit season 3, we hit the ground running, and it seems like they're going to be running into some crazy stuff from what we've seen, which
Yes,
I will definitely.
I have a lot of hope.
I got a lot of hope, but I don't know. I think what they did in Boba, like the first 4 episodes of Boba, those are like, it's like a Boba arc of, like, if it was like the Clone Wars, you know, like that's like the arc of Boba. Like you get this, like, that's the Boba story, because we got to explain how he got here in Mando season 2, and now once that arc is done, it's like back to your regularly scheduled programming, and they're all mixing together. I don't know. I just think Book of Boba is like it's wholesome. It's so wholesome to me, even though
it's incredibly wholesome.
Like the end when he like throws the Meiluran at Kersan, like that moment for me, it lives rent free in my head.
It's fun. It's camp. It's
I don't
like
why are they all smiling at me? And I just love Tem. Tem is so wholesome. He's so wholesome.
You have a good Tem accent. You have a good Jango Boba voice.
I don't know, like, it's
wow.
And I love Cobb. Corn Cobb. I mean, Dodge, we didn't even talk about it. The Cobb controversy.
Cobb.
He's dead. He's not dead.
He should have died. He should have died. I bet money on it. I had so many tweets ready in my drafts.
I remember that. I remember that era.
I still do. And I see these tweets, and I'm like, close.
I'm such
so close.
I don't know. Seeing Cad Bane could only go out in that way too. I love that.
I felt like
it. No, that was good.
So funny, because Cobb Vanth is, oh my gosh, like I love him to death, but I think it would have been so funny if he just died out of the blue. Like, there would have been like, I just think it would be so funny, because it would be dropping the bag so hard that you couldn't help but laugh. Like, it was so good. But anyway. But like, I don't know. My controversial, I mean, controversial has to be like, you know, something that other people don't like. One thing is, I do not like Bo-Katan. I do not like her. That is controversial. Every time she goes on the screen, I do not like her.
Because she's like a villain, or because like their character, or you don't like
I don't like her personality. I just don't. I didn't like her in Clone Wars. I didn't like her in Mando, because I'm such a big Din stan, and I just hate like her ego. And I hate people with big egos.
Big ego.
Me too, bro.
And I wanted to love her so much. Like, even in Clone Wars, I kept on being like, well, but I couldn't. I could not. So when people were like obsessed with Bo-Katan, I'm like, could not be me. Good for you, though. Yeah, that's probably my controversial opinion. I'm trying to get used to it, but oh my gosh, I rewatched Mando season 2, and her interacting with Din, and I'm just like, I will beat her. Literally
gave her a banger of a theme, though. So
I know. Curse that man.
He's a
Wow.
USC Thornton alum.
No,
that true?
gosh.
Yeah, he
Good
is.
for him.
He goes to my school.
Good for him. Good for Ludwig getting out there doing
Good for
something.
Ludwig.
I am excited
Get
to
his degree.
also the Book of Boba Fett music. Like, oh, it's so great. I love that the end, like it's the Book of Boba, like his
Yeah.
name is in the
No, I
so
love
good.
this
Joe
score.
Shirley and Ludwig killed it.
I love
Yeah.
it, and the tribal influences and stuff. Oh, I listen to it all the time. We were bumping that in the car at a celebration.
Yeah, we actually were. We were pulling up to
I was
celebration.
I was telling Dodge to put it on repeat. I was like, please.
And I was like, "Where's the solo tracks?" And they were like, "No."
Dude,
And I was
do you
like,
remember? Do you remember before it came out when everyone was like, they heard that like there's like this riff in the middle that sort of sounds like the Crimson Dawn theme, and everyone was like,
Yes.
everyone was like, oh boy,
Yeah.
and
I remember watching it. Like even in my reviews, I'm like, Crimson Dawn's gonna show up.
I was on that train too. I was
Shout
on that train.
Shout
I wanted it to happen. That when that was the biggest disappointment for me. After I've sat with it, I've enjoyed it, but I was so ready for more solo stuff. I was ready and waiting.
me
It's like, please.
I was
more.
like prepping my knowledge and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, Crimson Dawn's gonna come right out." And then after every episode, I'm like, "Okay, next episode. Okay,
Yeah.
we're on the last episode. There might not be any." So
Cad showing up. That did it for me though.
yeah, that was cool. They did a good job with him.
So good.
They did.
Did you guys get a chance to go into the Mandalorian experience at Celebration?
No. We never got into it.
We entered the queue.
That the Ladylorians did not go into the Mandalorian.
Could not get into the Mandalorian experience.
That's
when
so embarrassing
we all met
for us.
because of the Mandalorian.
I know.
Yeah.
Just stop. Just resign. It's over.
People would come up to us at Celebration and show us their photos, and we were like, "What the heck? Why are you showing us that?
Oh, that's nice.
That's so nice. Appreciate
Good
it."
for you.
That was like the one thing that I was like, if we could sneak in, let's sneak in. Like that was the one thing, and then we couldn't. So it's kind of hard to sneak in.
They had an actually like 3 people puppeteering a Grogu the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was so
in
cool.
the N1.
In the N1, yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to rub it in, but it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. We were in the opening panel.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You got to see Tony Gilroy, my father, speak about Andor. Yeah, Andor, by the way, comes out less than 50 days. As I think, we've been going for a minute here. As a sort of final note here, Andor's next. That's the next thing up on the Star Wars docket. How we feeling? We ready, or we're waiting for?
So excited! I'm so excited. I want to see more Star Wars stories that are about the people and not about the Jedi. I think that's one of the reasons Rogue One really appealed to me. Is we got to see, how the war and how the insurgents and the rise of the Empire was affecting the average people, in the galaxy. And it's cool to see the chosen ones with lightsabers fulfill prophecies and blow up Death Stars. But I want to just Diego has said in his interviews, there's so much to be said for the average people and the little pockets of rebels around the galaxy and stuff. And I'm also really excited to learn more about Mon Mothma's character.
Yep.
I've always been super intrigued by Mon Mothma. I think it's super cool that the entire rebellion is female led. I mean, that's incredible. So to learn more about her origin story and yeah, it's all super exciting. I'm thrilled. It looks beautiful. Hope we get some more beautiful music. Is it Michael Giacchino scoring Andor?
No, it's Nicholas Britell.
Right. Okay.
He's done I want to say Concession. That's not the name of the HBO show. A Succession.
Succession. Yeah.
Succession.
Okay.
And then he did the score on Vice as well, which if you've seen Vice, I love the movie, but the score is like, oh, it's so good. I'm very excited for him. Very excited for him to take a crack at Star Wars.
I'm thrilled.
I'll also a fellow Mon Mothma fan. Just if you go back to when like the Vanity Fair photo shoot came out, and I saw Mon Mothma like in the shoot, I couldn't stop. I was like, Mon Mothma is in like she's a main character. I couldn't stop. I am so excited for that.
It's gonna be great. How you feeling, Dodge?
Good.
Good.
I'm not a big fan of Rogue One. Like I love Rogue One, but I honestly haven't seen it in a very long time. And I don't know, like I'm very interested. I was never like obsessed with it. So I'm not like, it's not like my thing I'm looking forward to the most, but I love Cassian. So I'm very interested to see how he grew up and how he joined the rebellion and stuff. K2SO is my favorite droid, and so he's not in it. So I'm like, but next season. So yeah. I'm holding on.
All right, well, to put a bow on it, I guess I'll throw out my controversial Star Wars take of the day, and I have many.
So if you're gonna make us get canceled, you get canceled too.
Rogue One. Sometimes Rogue One is literally the bottom of my list. It's not. People love it, but you know,
that is controversial.
It's literally my mother's favorite Star Wars movie too, and I'm like, yeah, I get it.
It's my mom's favorite Star Wars movie too.
I get it, Mom, but not for me. I mean, it is for me. What Star Wars, but
why? What did you not like about it?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I like it a lot. I just think that of all the productions that have had problems, that is like Solo famously had a ridiculously complicated production, but you don't feel it at all. For Rogue One, I feel when Gareth Edwards is directing, and I feel when Tony Gilroy is directing. Like it feels like two different movies. Like the first act of that movie is like a different movie than the third act. I mean, I get that. I don't know if you guys
stuff was overwritten too in the writing process.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but even just between me watching like the trailers as like a 15-year-old and going to see the movie, I knew how much was in those trailers that just was not in the film. And I was like, wait a second, like, weren't they like running on the beach with the plans? What happened to all that? And I was like, this is like a different movie. What happened? I don't know. I once again, really love it. The third act of Rogue One is pretty, that's up there for Star Wars content, but yeah, I don't know. The first and second act kind of weak sometimes. I don't know. There's just too many characters. Oh, well, here's a great way to describe it. It feels like a really good finale to a TV show I haven't seen. And now that Andor is coming out, and they literally are saying it builds like year after year to this thing, which is Rogue One. Like it's literally all these characters. I'm like, I feel like I should know all of you, and I don't. And there's so much going on. But now that we'll have Andor, I think I'll view Rogue One completely differently. Like because it will feel like a finale. It'll feel like this is the event finale. That's a good way to put it. To Andor, which is it'll make it feel good. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Andor to warming me up on Rogue One, but that's a controversial take, I think, because most people say that Rogue One's the best Disney film, and I'm like,
It is understandable.
It is.
No. it is. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Last Jedi would beg to differ, but you know. It's you know, that's a different podcast. But
okay.
Next time we'll talk about Star Wars.
Next time we'll talk about all the
yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I mean, where everyone can find you at I mean, your ats are on the screen, but Ladylorians on YouTube, Ladylorians on all the social medias. Please go check them out. I know they said they haven't posted in a while, but soon.
We'll be back soon.
Await the return.
And we post a lot on our individual pages and stuff if you want to keep up with us. Yes. I'm literally not. I'm talking about Elvis on my Twitter all the time. Yep. So don't expect much, but I'm gonna get back to Star Wars one day.
One day.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming on.
And we have to meet the rest of the all new nerds.
I know it's more than just me. There's actually other people on this channel. I swear it's not just me. But
and happy birthday, Johnny.
And happy birthday, Johnny. Johnny's birthday. All right, well. All right, Farrell, one here. Let's end it with here. What should we end it with here? Let's end it with this one.
Those flies.